Hey guys, it's Nikki, and today I have a fun little tutorial I wanted to share. A couple of videos ago I posted where I had made some charms, and I really have gotten into making these. I really enjoy it. It's lots of fun, and so I had an order from someone for a purple and kind of silver color charm. So I thought, while I was making this, why not do a video? So just a list of supplies you would need. You would need a chain, and this is a length of chain. It's about 2 3/4. You can buy it on a roll. I got mine. This is Jewelry and Craft. I got this at Big Lots, but there's 72 inches on there, and you can get this in different colors as well. But I found this is a really good size to use. I also got some in gold. I got this from Michael's in the jewelry department. So you can get. I actually found this on clearance for like $2.99. I think regular price it's $7.99, but it's 12 yards. So if you use your coupon, it's really not that bad on cost. But I use silver a lot, and this is actually the second one I've went through. So you need this kind of chain, and this just says fashion chain, and this is a chainette. So just a smaller length of chain for these charms. You'll also need some small jump rings. I think these are 6mm and 4mm, if I'm not mistaken. I threw my tags away. And then you'll need some large jump rings. And you can see them in the jewelry section. They have them, and they put them by size. You'll also need some head pins, and then you'll need some eye pins. I have a pair of pliers, and these actually are 3-in-1. These are needle nose, and then the flat ones are this section right here, and then the part that will cut the metal and the pins is right in here. But you can buy these separate. I actually do have the separate ones, but I got these in a kit, and I love them. I also have this little thing. I have no idea what it's called. It came in my kit, but it is very useful for like sorting through your beads and whatnot. So if you can find one of these pretty cheap, they come in very handy. So I have those. And then I went through my stash, and I've just pulled out an assortment of larger stones and the charms I want to use to make this. Well, you're making a charm, but I also have little charms on it. I have this butterfly I'm going to put on it. I have a dragonfly. And then I just have an array of larger stones. This is Swarovski. I got this. Some of these come from Michael's. Some come from Hobby Lobby. You can usually catch them when they're on sale and get a really good deal on these. So just a variety of stones. I also have these bead caps. I really like these ones. Oops. I do have other ones, but these are just a filigree sort, and they're very nice, very elegant. So, but in addition to these larger beads, you'll need, let me close these up so I can show them, some seed beads. And these are just going to be used as spacer beads. And you want to have spacer beads, especially if you're working with more expensive of these larger beads, because you don't, you want your charms to have substance and some, you want it to be large and long and dangly. And so when you work with these more expensive beads, you want to have those spacer beads to fill in the gaps. So I have these seed beads, and I got a large, I think it came with 24 different colors seed beads. You can get those at Michael's. They were regular $27.99. I used my coupon, and they were about $15. And that's also, it had this kit with this and this, and just an array of different tools. So it was definitely worth the money. You'll also need, where did I put it? Oh yes. You'll also need some sort of clasp. I'm going to use lobster clasp. There's all sorts that you can use, but this is what I'm going to use. So to begin, I take a large jump ring, and when I started making these, I did not realize that you don't pull jump rings apart. You twist them from side to side. And what you do is you find this opening. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there's an opening. And instead of pulling it apart like this, you'll actually grasp one side with your pliers, and you're going to twist it like so, so that it opens like that. And I'm just going to thread my lobster clasp onto this jump ring, and then I'm going to thread my chain. Help if I get in the camera. I'm just going to thread the last link of my chain, and then I'm going to twist it back into place so that there is not a gap when I do that, and that will keep my findings from falling off. So I'm going to end up with something that looks like this. And you can test it out. Slide your chain and your lobster clasp over that hole to make sure that it doesn't fall out. So now that we have that, we're going to set it aside. Now, I know that I'm going to have 3 charms, and that's why I'm planning is, you know, it's a very good thing to do when you're making these. I know I'm going to have 3 charms hanging from charms, these 3 charms. So I'm going to use eye pins on 3 of these, and that gives me 2 loops, one at each end, so that I can hang those charms. So I'm just going to pull out 3 of these, and these come in all sorts of colors. I have some tarnished silver, some gold, and then I have these bright silver ones, which are the ones I'm using. As you can see, these just have a little loop already on one end. The other end you can thread beads onto. So we're just going to start. I'm just going to pick, since my my colors that I'm using are purple and silver, I'm going to try and keep my seed beads silver clear. I also threw in a few pearls, so we're going to try to utilize those colors the most on these seed beads. So I'm just going to work with this. Now I have a tendency, whenever I know I'm going to hang a charm from one of these, I try not to use my heavier stones because it kind of gets it off balance. It looks a little wonky. So, you know, I try to keep these more delicate, the ones that are going to have the actual charms hanging on them. Okay, so whenever you make one of these, you want to keep a pattern. Like I had a silver seed bead, a white pearl, this larger purple stone, and then I just repeated white pearl and then a seed bead. Now I'm looking at this and I think I want a little more, so I can just slide those off. I think I want some silver in here, and so I have some small silver beads. I'm just going to thread on, and it really is personal preference what you, well, I just dropped that one, what you prefer, what looks good to you, and so you just have to work with it. I think I like this, so get another one of those silver beads. Oh shoot. Okay. And I'm sorry about my messy hands. I've been painting. Okay, so we have something that looks like this. These are my colors I've chosen. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip this off using my the cutter parts, and I left about this much, if you can see, this much of the wire. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grasp it at the top, and I'm just going to bend it to form a loop. I think I was off camera doing that. But you just bend it to make a loop, and you use the needle nose to do that. And if you cut it the right length, it will just fold into place like so. And it takes some practice getting these things to fold into place. If it doesn't fold in place, you can just pull it back straight up and clip off a bit and then try again. But that's what this one looks like. So now I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of these charms, and I'll be back to show you what they look like. Okay, so I've finished the charms I used with the eye pins, and this one looks like this. It's just got this little round clear stone and these purple beads. And then I have this one. It's just got this oblong and these little, I'm really not sure what these shapes are, but they're triangle shapes. So I have that one, and then the one I completed earlier. So those are my three charms that I used with the eye pins. Now we're going to take some flathead pins, and they just look like this. They're flat on the bottom. And another reason you want to use seed beads, hold on, I got to pause my movie. Another reason you'd want to use seed beads is because sometimes the holes, say you use this bead, this hole is big enough that it's going to slide off the end of this. So when you have that seed bead, it acts as a stopper. So for these ones, it's just you're threading the same way. I'm going to use some silver seed beads. And because these ones will not have charms hanging off of them, I'm going to use the heavier stones. And just go in with these silver ones I showed you. And then I'm going to use these bead caps, these filigree bead caps that I showed earlier. Just thread it through, and then I'm going to use this large purple stone and put it down on it like that. And then I'm going to put another bead cap over the top so that it looks like this. It makes it look very elegant, very nice. Just gives it a very completed look. So I'm going to add another one of those silver beads, like so, and then a seed bead. So we have something that looks like this. And this is fairly small, but once we hang it off the chain, it will dangle. Okay, so I just clipped the excess off, and just like we did with the, I think I actually got this too long. Let me cut a little more off. Okay, and just like we did with the eye pins, we're just going to loop this over and make that little loop. Use our round nose tip to just work it as close as we can to the portion that's going through the beads, and that will close it off. So now we have this, and it only has one little loop, which is all we need. So I'm going to go ahead and put these together, and my I think I'm going to need about 6 to 8 of these smaller charms. So I'm going to finish those with just the head pins, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got all my little charms together, and I've got a total of 2, 4, 6, 8 of these, and they're just an array of different sizes and stones. Now, one of my charms that I want to use has this sort of loop that you can use to hang it from, and these are preferable for these types of charms. But I have this little butterfly that I really wanted to use, but it has a hole all the way through the center, like so, you can see. And I need to have something that I can hang it from to make it dangly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a clear seed bead, and I'm going to slide it onto the end of this flat actually I need to add a larger stone to that. Okay, so I found these light purple, and the reason being is this hole is still large. It's still so big that it would slide off the end of this even with the seed bead. So I have to put the seed bead first, because if I don't, then this larger one will fall off. But I have to put the larger one so that the charm won't fall off. So you just have to work with it and see. So once again, I'm going to just layer it so that it looks like this, and it will stay on now. I'm just going to clip it and make a loopy, just like I've been doing. And this is, I think this is the hardest part of making these charms, is getting these loops down. They're really a pain to figure out, but once you do, you know, it goes by rather smoothly. And I still mess up like I did now. I think I cut it too short. You just keep on twisting and tighten up the loop, and I know my finger's in the way. I'm sorry, you guys. I was kind of hesitant to do this tutorial because I'm not really good at explaining things, but I wanted to share. Okay, so we got this little loopy thing going on, so we can hang our charm now. So this is where we use the smaller of the jump rings, and what I'm going to do first, what I prefer to do first, is go ahead and find the ones I've made with the eye pins, which are these three, and go ahead and hang my charms. So I just grab one of my jump rings, just like we did before attaching the lobster class, and I put it through that loop that I just put on that charm. And then I prefer, this is just my preference, when I hang a charm on one of these eye pins, I hang it on the loop that I made. It seems like the ones that are pre-made are closer fitting, and that way it will keep the whole charm from falling off. So I'm just going to go through and attach my little charms to the bottom of each of these loops that I've made. Now this bead came pre-made like this with this wiring. I found this one at Michael's. They have all sorts of colors like this, and I really like those. I thought they were really pretty. And then I'm going to attach my dragonfly. Now I have two different sizes of jump rings in this bag, like I said earlier. To attach the charms, I generally use the larger size, and that is to just give it more wiggle room, so that it can kind of, you know, move about and just be, you know, it kind of seems more elegant that it flows. So this is what we got. We got this little guy, and see how he moves about more freely than if I'd used a small one. And this little guy, and then of course the little butterfly, which I absolutely love. Okay, so we have those already assembled. Now what I'm going to do is now you can take and use the large jump rings or the small jump rings. Well, I say large, the medium or the small. I'm going to use the medium ones that I used. Whenever you're attaching your charms, try to establish some kind of order. Like, I have 8 charms here, so I'm going, and I have 3 of them that have these little danglies. So I'm going to alternate where I put one, then I'll put 2 that are plain, and then 1 with the charm, and then 2 that are plain, and so on and so forth. So just try to establish a pattern. Also, you're going to have longer charms than others. Just, you know, it just happens. You make some that are longer or not. I try to put the longer ones on the top. It fills in the gaps more, and it makes it look fuller. So I'm going to put this one, and I always skip where this lobster clasp is attached. I skip one loop, and then I go to the next one. So don't attach it to the same loop as the lobster clasp is on. It just weighs it down too much, and it don't move around as well. Okay, so I attached the first one. It looks like this. I'm just going to go through and I'm going to attach each one of my charms, and I'll be right back to show you how it looks when I finish. Okay, so I've put all my charms on the chain, and as you can see, it looks something like this. And this is it. This is how it looks when it's finished. And if you hold it up by the end, which is this little guy right here, you can see that they all hang like that. Now I think I wound up with 9 on here. So the more you have, you know, the fuller it looks. And here's the little butterfly. So this is my charm, and I hope I explained things well enough. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and thanks for watching. Bye.